Welcome everyone to the Panafriconnect podcast. And this afternoon, we're going to be talking about a very interesting topic. Yeah. The topic for today's podcast is the Vanguard Revolutionary Party and the mind of the people. I am Comrade Ray. I'm Comrade J reporting. I have Comrade Yomi in the house. I have Comrade Additional, right? And this afternoon, my our listeners, we're going to be looking at what this Vanguard Revolutionary Party is, right? And for we are reporting right now, we're also going to be looking at the action points we wish to take, after making our listeners understand what this Vanguard Revolutionary Party is and how it can also influence and change the mind of our people, right? Because our listeners, Panafriconnect podcast is all about conscious talk. We want to be able to, bring that political consciousness into our people so that, they can be able to rise above the thinking they have right now. So this afternoon, we have Comrade Yomi that is going to be talking about what's the Vanguard Revolutionary Party and why we need the Vanguard Revolutionary Party and also the mind of the people. He's also going to be talking about what he intends to do, with this platform, the Revolutionary Vanguard Party, with that platform, what he intends to do in his hometown. Also, Comrade Rebel, Comrade Additional is going to also talk about how this Vanguard Revolutionary Party, how it has been able to give him more light on what, the class system is. And also how, this class system is going to be sharing with us how it can influence, making the Vanguard Revolutionary Party a possibility, a reality. So, our listeners, I'll move the mic to Comrade Yomi, right, to give us his own view on the Vanguard Revolutionary Party and the mind of the people. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, listeners. My own name is Comrade Yomi. So I'll be speaking, on our topic today, the Vanguard Revolutionary Party and the mind of the people. So I will be speaking from the point of cultural expression because I believe, we have cultural diversity in our societies today. Such like we have traditional religion, we have the Muslim and Christian society religion. So what we just want at the end point of of this talk is just to make this religion come together and also preach unity across all African states, so which is whereby where you as a Muslim society or Christian society leader or traditional leader, bringing up a educational proposal or establishing an educational program in our society. Because if we see, the educational curriculum, we have in Nigeria these days, because we have private schools, we have public schools. And when we check in all these private and public schools, you can see we have Christian society private schools and Muslim society private schools. What we are just preaching at the end of of this topic is just unity, love, and oneness. You understand? So I will just go, through my points and then also end it, with a short few words also. The Vanguard Revolutionary Party, such like African Revolutionary Party across all African, we have the EFF also, much more like that. And me being a part of the movement of the people, MOP, located in Nigeria. So leading its people to the real liberation of Africa from the colonials, people who have, placed us in this, struggle we have today, such as the imperialist master. So the vanguard in its word is said, to be the leading unit. Also, you can call it like a person, at the front line, in a group or any movement. how do we as African, youth leader, free our people, from the shackles, of this Eurocentric, ideas and the westernization ideas, we breathe in today, because all what we see on the internet, and also, sometimes all we see in schools, it's kind of Eurocentric, and also, and at the end of the day, you learn a vocational skills, and you won't even be able to use your vocational, skills, and then at the end of the day, you will still need to travel out, for you to be able to, to successful. And we have a different kind of empowerment programs, in Nigeria. Muslim creates different kind of empowerment programs. If you want to check, even the Lagos state government also, creates a different kind of empowerment. So we're not trying to, diverse, we're not trying to, bring diversity in these talks. We're just trying to bring everyone together, just to see the goodness in what we do. You being a Christian, you being Igbo, you being Yoruba, you being Hausa, we're not trying to see this, that we're just trying to bring everyone together. So we as African first, need to possess, a trustworthy political movement, such like MOP, Movement of the People, which we people, decide, the policies, that the government carries out. So we must educate our people, also evangelize, the modern African knowledge, to our people, in order to bridge the gap, bridge the gap that, these, Eurocentric ideas and westernization ideas, has created in our minds, so that we can also think, and we can think as African ourselves. You understand? So the movement has to, be decentralized, across, the extreme of African's region, whether you in Nigeria, whether you in Algeria, whether you in Libya, make sure that, this education, is decentralized, teach one unity, teach oneness. You understand? Whether you be Muslim, whether you be Christian, let us be, truthful, you understand, in what we do, and teach oneness. And also, we should know that the part of the struggle we face today, has been, the result, like, African has been the most, the intelligent, the most technologically, and also the most, resourceful, in the history, in the history of the world. And also, we need to, protect our resources, from being exploited, from all these imperialists and the neo-colonialists, riding us, leading us. So we need to know all this. So let me just drop the point there now, and let my other comrades chime in. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Komiyomi. This is wonderful. This is wonderful. You talked about the movements of the people, which is the organization most of us on this call are in right now. And also you talked about our colonial Africa. Right now we're living in a colonial state, right? We're living in a state where, we don't have the power to be who we want to be, right? And that's why you talked about cultural expression. We want to be able to express ourselves as Africans, right? We want to be able to love ourselves, like I always say, we're still dealing with so much self-hate, So as you said also, the people need a vanguard revolutionary party. They need a front. They need something that can, direct them to their own destination, direct them to know themselves more, to work on themselves more, to develop themselves more. And that's why you were talking about, the Vanguard Revolutionary Party. You also made mention about the movement has to be decentralized. Very important, it has to be democratically decentralized. And that's why we in MOP we believe that, we have to go back to our grassroots. We can't be looking at the effects. We have to look at the cause. What is making us express ourselves the way we expressing ourselves right now, which is cultural expression. We can't be using a Western solution for African problem. We have to be able to use African problem. We have to be able to use African solution for African problem. And that's for us to, go back to our roots, express ourselves in our culture and, in our own identity. So thanks once again, Yomi. And like you also said, we need to be able to protect our resources, right? We have to be able to protect our resources because when you enjoy your culture, you understand that your resources belong to your culture. And these are really wonderful points, right? Because the colonialists, right, they came to exploit and they are still exploiting us right now. So wonderful points, Comrade Yomi. I'll move the mic over to Comrade Rebel because of our time. Comrade Rebel, you talking about, the middle class, right? You really want to talk about class system, right? So you want our listeners to understand what is class system, why is class system affecting who we are right now, um, affecting, the mind right now, you know, and how can we as the Vanguard Revolutionary Party break this class system so that everyone can be able to, enjoy from their resources, express themselves, express, the beauty of our mind. So, Comrade Rebel, you have the floor, please.
Yeah, good day, everyone. Yeah, the middle class are a very vital element in the revolutionary struggle. Though the proletariat have a bigger role, but yeah, in liberating the nation.
And combination of before you move on, right? I want our listeners to understand what when you mentioned the proletariat, who are these proletariat, right? When you mentioned the
The
middle
class,
class, so I
yeah,
really want us to, yeah, thank you.
proletariat are workers, the working class, while the middle class are the professionals. They are the people that work for the top class, the ruling class, and the pseudo big men. Sorry. Yeah. And why do I say the middle class are a very vital element is that the middle class have enough access to education and information to conscientize and politicize the majority part um, who lack the access to the information. Our pseudo big men, yeah, they make too much money being of the system, and they don't care. That's why they will say, they will spill out a rhetoric like the poor are just lazy. They can never get on the revolutionary side or support a revolutionary cause or any revolutionary movement, because being able for them to go on trip to Paris and Switzerland make them not care about the wuru-wuru structure, the inequality of the system. And right now, as we are, as Africans, our own middle class needs to wake up and take on their responsibility, and also understand that the cause of the nation will move faster with them being involved in the revolutionary struggle. Few of them, they can buy one or two cars and suddenly forget what it is like to be on the extreme end of the system, which is poverty. And sometimes they occasionally slaves away for a while until their pockets feel the fire. Then they go back to slaving away for the next big bag, as they call them, the big cash that will make them feel like the big boys again. while slaving away their lives. Over 100 million of our citizens are in poverty. That's a very big number to ignore. Yes, you are comfortable. You have a job. Yeah, you have a house. You have a car. But it doesn't mean you should throw out the struggle and be useless too. By sacrificing our comfortabilities of expensive clothes, alcohol, and entertainment and other materialistic means for a short while, by being involved in the revolutionary process, you ensure your future generation do not have to be landless and do not have to be slaves in their nation. You can sell out and enjoy a lifetime of money provided by the so-called big men, the elites that rule your nation. Or you can organize with the people and sacrifice a little bit of your comfort to lift your entire generation, your entire bloodline. Yeah, that's why the struggle is worth it. It's going to be painful, we know. During war, it's going to be painful. But when we win, your bloodline is free forever. That is why voices like the Anikulapo Kutis are important. Movement like the MOP, the movement of the people, is very vital in the liberation struggle of our people. We Africans, we should own instead of being employed. We should think for ourselves instead of being told what to think or how to think. We need the control of our land. We need the control of our agriculture. We need the control of our medicine. And we need the control of our production. Sorry, I don't lose my train of thought. Might just leave it here. Thank you.
A very wonderful point. Very wonderful point. Very wonderful point.
Powerful, real powerful, my comrade. And it's a wake-up call for all of us, right? It's a wake-up call for all of us. We need to rise up, to take that responsibility.
It make me want to cry.
My comrade, that's been real powerful, real powerful, real powerful. And I don't know, comrade Yomi, do you want to add anything before we just wrap it up with some words of admonitions and comments?
I don't really have much to add up because I have talked about the educational part and also the how we need to decentralize the African education also so that we can use our African education to beat this Western education they're giving us whereby even though being able to say, if for instance now my grandpa na farmer, so they can't tell you say, okay, you will be say you learn one techniques from farm, you go come need travel out for you say, okay, my papa no dey, say my papa no even dey alive again now, so you go come need say maybe one of my papa uncle maybe say he know my grandpa techniques, maybe say he get the land farm, maybe say my grandpa they use that time, so they're going to tell you say, for you to be able to use this land properly for farming, to be able to get everything, say, okay, we feed they make money from our own land concept, say you go need travel out, carry you travel out, so they can't carry you travel out again, so as they carry you travel out, they don't sell everything, maybe say you get down for here, you don't forget home, so the kind of thing where they use for us, that kind of bamboozle, idea, maybe say they just put for your mind, maybe say the vocational skills, maybe say you learn, you no go fit even use the vocational skills for your own land here until you travel out. So it's kind of disheartening. So we need to, as Comrade Adesina don say the sacrificing of our comfortability, for a short period of time. So use that time also for African purpose. So now just say make we note that point also, sacrificing our comfortability, for the time use of Africa. So it's a very wonderful conversation and a very wonderful point from Comrade Adesina. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. And I will just wrap it up with this so that our listeners can understand, right? While we all are on this journey, right? It's a beautiful and a tough journey at the end of the day, right? Um, we all believe as we move on, our revolution will only have value, right? If we all can look back and say that our people from our community, from the grassroots, the rejects of life, the people that don't have hope, right? When we can look back and say to them and say, we've been able to overcome the challenges of climate change. We've been able to overcome the challenges of good water. We can give our people good water. Our people can, have sufficient water that can make them live, right? We can give them sufficient food. We can give them good health. We can give them education. We can give them decent housing. We can give them more freedom to be able to move, right? We can give them more democracy, autonomous power to be able to choose who they want to rule them. And we can be able to also give them more dignity, right? And we in Panafriconnect, we believe that MOP, the movement of the people, is providing us with an alternative policy solution to our dependency and enslavement of the global economic institution, which continue to impose their model of development based on African indebtedness, right? If you say, the naira right now is falling, right? $100 to naira is almost 1,000, right? The prices of food has gone up, the prices of petrol has gone up, right? Everyone is really lamenting right now. So we need a revolutionary party that becomes our vein so that it can break us free from this in-depthness of Western, institutions like, the IMF and World Bank, right? We are encouraging our listeners, join MOP, the movement of the people. If you can't join MOP, join any organization that are organizing the people so that they can be able to take power for themselves, right? So that's our watchword. And as Steve Biko, one of our great revolutionaries, said, the greatest tools in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. I'll repeat again. The greatest tool in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. So we're trying to, escapate that spirit of the oppressor within us. It's a painful one, but we'll keep doing it day in, day out. And that's why we want everybody to come into MOP. Let's build our future together. Let's build our destination together. Let's build a better life together. Life is better than this. Let's build a society with higher consciousness, a society with people that are intellectual, people that understand, how to find solutions for their brothers and sisters. Let's build a society where, you understand that we can rely on our leaders. It's not when, something happen, our leaders are traveling to the Western world and begging for help. They need to be with us. They need to be with the people. We need to be communicating with the people. And that's why we need MOP. And that's my own final contribution. I don't know if any of our comrades wants to wrap it up. We have about 4 minutes, please.
I'm fine. Comrade, it's a very wonderful, conversation we've had this afternoon. So I would just encourage our listener, to just go check about, MOP, movement of the people, and check through our manifestos, check through our ideology, going through our Telegram channel and also see, the kind of books, we have there, which is kind of educating, you can see our quantum of governing. You can see, the West and the rest of us, which we just finished reading. It's a very quiet, interesting reading. So that's just I just have left for our listeners. Thank you, comrades, for this wonderful topic. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Comrade Yomi. Wonderful contribution there. Comrade Rebel, any thoughts from you?
Yeah, my own message to the listeners is let's be open to new ideas. Don't just be stuck that what you know is the truth. When you are exposed to new ideas, dig deeper. You will know the truth. Luta continua. Victoria Asata.
And like I always say, my brothers and sisters, we are one race with great civilization. We need to, start redirecting ourselves to the power of ourselves. Africa shall be great again. You see,
He say Ashe, Ashe ni, Ashe.